Yeah, the Dumber Zone, I think.
That
Dumber Zone?
they were nice guys.
Mhm.
Very cool.
Here, turn this knob here.
Just
We're
turn it and
good.
tweak it. Turn it and tweak it.
Let's get this knob here right. I'll get it right.
Well,
Well-
we're back, kind of, sort of. We'll see.
We're on the climb back, sir. You know, you leave for 4 months. You don't do a podcast because we got a lot of stuff going on, as we covered already, and it's we got to get our sea legs about us, Adrian. We got to do it.
Said.
As I just said. We're gonna see if it works and put another one in the can, my boy. Well, happy Christmas, Adrian.
We thought we had it, and then they throw a wrench in our a wrench in our bike spokes. So we're back to basics now. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes. No knock on the Riverside app. Thank you for all your blessings, but damn, y'all went through some shit.
Bullshit.
Well, Merry Christmas, brother. I love the shirt.
Merry Christmas, Merry holidays, all the things.
Happy Festivus. Okay,
We
the
don't
airing of
discriminate against any of them. We celebrate them all.
Happy Festivus, Hanukkah, Juneteenth, Kwanzaa, all of it.
Festivus for the rest of us.
A Festivus for the rest of us, airing of grievances, the whole bit, sir. Yeah, so your shirt, I love it. That's your favorite Christmas movie, right?
Yes, my favorite Christmas movie.
Didn't you tell me that you guys will play that on the loop or whatever when you're cooking food and getting ready for Christmas and
Yeah,
stuff?
when they I don't remember how long ago it was that TBS started doing the 24-hour marathon.
Yeah.
You know, and it used to be, yeah, I think it's always been 24 hours, but I swear I remember it used to be longer.
Yeah.
I swear I remember it used to be like 2 days worth of it, where they just put it on a loop. They just put it on a loop. But now it's basically, they still do it. They do it Christmas Eve, I think like 7 o'clock till Christmas Day, 7 o'clock. But, you know,
Cool.
since now it's on streaming, so you just put it on a loop on there and you don't have to worry about watching commercials or, anything like that.
Nice.
But yeah, that's one of the things that we do. We put it on and we leave it on and over and over and over. And then usually we'll sneak in the different, we'll sneak in the other Christmas movies in there in between. Like we won't keep it going completely, but we'll sneak in once in a while, every 2-3 repeats. We'll throw in a Home Alone, or what else is it? We watch Home Alone. We watch Christmas Vacation, Elf, Home Alone 2. What's the other one? I forget. There might be another one or two that I'm not remembering, but those are basically the ones that go through the rotation during Christmas.
During Christmas, we're about the
Yeah.
same. We'll mix in a Die Hard. We watch Die Hard Friday night, the best Christmas movie, IMO. So yeah, made a swim through that. But yeah, man, it was good. We felt like we had a weird we had a good family time and hangout, but with the way that Wednesday and Thursday laid out with the 24th, 25th, and then New Year's next week, I felt yesterday, whatever day today is. So Friday yesterday, I felt like I was in no man's land, where I was like working, but not, and still eating leftovers.
Like it's weird. It's weird when that thing hits in the middle of the week, because it's like you're already getting the middle of the week off, but then it's like, okay, well, it's Monday, we're about to be off. You don't really want to. You're not in the mood to work because we're about to be off and it's holiday. And then when you get back, you're like, well, it's still kind of holiday, and then it's the between now and New Year, so it's kind of still holiday. Like nothing gets accomplished these like last 2-3 weeks of the year.
No, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to get super hard hit by the circle back season train I'm on right now. I'm like, don't worry about it. Hey, guys, it's okay. Why don't we reconnect in the new year? It's going to hit me in the face.
Everybody's
January.
like, hey, I remember when I used to work in the corporate environment. It was like, hey, we'll get we'll hit it like you said, we'll come back around to it. After 1-1, after the 1-1, we'll reconvene and we'll
God bless that.
No,
yeah,
but
so
it's like speaking of that, like we were talking about, like, I don't know if it's because we're getting older. My kids are older. Like, I don't have little tiny kids anymore, and baby nesters in Mexico. So but it's just like every year it seems like less Christmassy.
Yes.
And I don't know. like I said, it's just weird because I mean the weather doesn't help. Number one, the weather, the fact that it's 85 degrees on Christmas Eve and Christmas doesn't help. That's one. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean?
That's
But
right.
it's just like seems, and maybe I was thinking too because I haven't been around. I mean, I work anyway, but I haven't been working normal work around other people. And that's sometimes when you also get the thing because people are talking about Christmas or the holiday. Hey, what are you going to do for the holidays? So it kind of sneaks up on you that way. But I was telling Marnie, it's like we went to the store on Christmas Eve, which was during the day, which is like noon or something, to go get a couple food things that I still needed. We went to Walmart and it was like a regular day, and I remember, I mean, I don't know. The last time that I wouldn't step foot in the store, first of all, but if you had to, and you had to, like you knew it
And
was
you
going
would,
to be hectic, and you'd go to the toy aisle, and there would be nothing. It would be bare. Last minute gift, like you could choose this thing, or like you had to pick a puzzle or some bullshit stuff that like nobody, you know what I mean? There was nothing.
you'd pick a
And then, like
puzzle
I
or a
said,
thesaurus.
yeah, and then, like I said, Christmas Eve, 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Christmas Eve and the shelves are fully stocked. Like you can basically buy anything you want, from video games to systems to toys, like all that stuff is just available. But like, I don't know if it's just the online thing, but it's like, I don't think that it goes that hard just from one year to the next, you know what I mean? Or just in a couple of years. But it seemed like a huge difference, you know what I mean? And like I said, all that stuff, it just doesn't, I don't know, it just didn't seem very Christmassy, So I don't know if it's I don't know. It's just not. It might be just because I'm getting old and the kids are getting older, or if I don't know if it's just changing and it's just
Maybe.
different for us. I don't know.
No, you're onto something. So, Andy, my wife, was feeling the same way, and so was I about Christmas this year
Hmm.
specifically. So, like you mentioned it, whether it was a commercial aspect of it or like, yeah, you can just order shit online and then you can get it in the next day. The shelves are stocked, but also like work schedules are different. Yeah, there seem to be more places open Christmas Eve day. There didn't seem to be a ramp up, right? And we thought
No,
it was just honestly, my wife and I, like I was telling her, I was like, is this just us? We have an older kid. She's 25, right? Uh, we were just sharing the same feeling about this Christmas season. Like, did it feel like Thanksgiving came and went, and then Christmas was like just here, but we didn't have a full ramp up, right? Like, normally I try to take her to like, I don't know, like what Jake hates about his hometown, right? Main Street Grapevine, the Christmas capital of Texas. We try to do that. Didn't get to do it this year. Just ran out of time, work, the whole thing. It has not felt like Christmas, but I thought it was just us that we were like, are we old or did we just lose our Christmas spirit?
yeah.
Which sounds super SG, but I did feel different
No,
this
but it
season.
is. Like I said,
There's
there is
something.
something. Yeah, there is something to it. Like I said, because I was wondering too. Like, is it just us? But it's like no, it just everybody. Even we went over to my mom's, to do tamales and all that
Mm,
kind of thing. And even my sister was talking about like it just kind of snuck up on you, and it's just kind of weird, kind of. And all her kids are old too. They're like mine. They're 18, 19, 20s. Well, whatever. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's just that or and it's not like the whole, I don't know, like I said, I guess you can lose your holiday spirit or whatever
you
it is, I
can't.
don't know.
You
But
can't.
like
Don't
I
lose
said,
it.
I've never been a big Christmas person. Like to me as a parent, I think for everybody, like it's a stressful time. Like it's just kind of trying to get all the shit done. And like I said, the past couple years have been less stressful, so you would think that you would enjoy it more, but like I said, it just seems like it's just different.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It just
Yeah.
seems to be different.
Yeah. I think it's because the stakes are different. It's not that they're higher or lower. I think yes, like the age has something to do with it of our kids, but
Yeah.
even in talking to like some of my friends that have younger kids or like brother and sister-in-laws that have younger kids, it's not it just feels like yes, they're under more stress, but the enjoyment level isn't there. And it's not that I have good old day syndrome. Yes, I'm a cranky old man and I yell at clouds. Yes. Yes,
I
it's true.
mean, we all do.
But there does seem to be something different about the environment that we are in today. Like, have you seen those freaking post rapping kind of Christmas videos where the kids are upset that they didn't get a Gucci purse or like they didn't get the right shoes or they didn't get the right console, and they were like one kid's like kicking the TV he got for Christmas on the
Even though they
floor.
got like thousands of dollars
Yes,
worth of
yes,
like gifts, like it wasn't what they wanted, it wasn't the right
yes,
one.
that's it. So I think there's an element of that, and also that's why the robots are taking over. I think they're sucking our holiday spirit. I think we got to get better about Christmas. I will fight against AI. I will fight against that hill. I'll go up. I'll die on that hill. Is what I'll do. How about that?
No,
Speaking
I
of
mean, like I said,
dying,
it's something. I even tell the kids, like, when we were younger, and I guess like again, like I said, I get. And the thing is, like, I remember having fun when even if I stressed out, because you want to get them everything they want, whether you can or not, or as much, of what they want to make their holiday, whatever, you know what I mean? Even though it was stressful, like, you still kind of like enjoyed the season, you
yes,
know? And like I said, like here, the past couple of years has been weird. It's like,
yeah,
and I don't think it's because necessarily I don't get to buy a bunch of stuff because I still get them things, I still do stuff, and there we still have little kids in our family that you kind of, but I don't know if it's, again, I just can't. This year it was way more. I guess that feeling was more prevalent, was more just kind of like, and everybody felt that way in the house, kind of like, I
yeah,
don't know, it's just kind of weird. I don't know if a huge part of it is the weather, that like, at least if it's like 50 degrees outside, you can kind of feel like it's you
yeah,
know, like it's kind of
something.
Christmassy or whatever. Yeah. And like I said, we hung out. We hung out. We went to my mom's, made tamales, ate tamales, like all that kind of thing that we normally do. It was just, I don't know. It was just weird. It was just weird. And I don't know, like I said, it might just be us getting older, or the whole thing might be shifting, it
Yeah,
might be like different from here on out. Like,
maybe. So also like I feel like in talking to my parents, I think that we're our parents now, right? Like as they age, we're our parents in the sense of like structure of family. People
yeah.
look to us now, right, as kind of the center of the families, right? Like what are we gonna do? Where are we gonna
Hmm.
host or what are and as our parents become those grandparents, right? Have been for a long time. I think something I've always thought about is like those like cheesy books that you're like, hey, share this with your mom or dad, right? And like it'll ask them prompt questions like, how was it like when you were growing up? And a
Oh yeah.
mortgage was buying a house was like $10. How'd you do that? And stuff like that. And things were better back then. But I've never gotten the chance to ask my mom or dad. I need to do that. Is ask them like how they feel now as a passage of time,
Yeah.
as we become kind of the central point. We got littles, got kids, we got little ones in our families and stuff like that. Like, I think there's something there too as we transition over into like, okay, you guys are next, but you guys aren't getting any younger. So you're the next
Yeah.
grandparents. Why don't you ask your current grandparents of the household, like, what are you feeling? Like, are you feeling the same way? Did this happen to you when you were in your mid 40s? Like,
Yeah,
uh,
that's a thing too, because you don't know. Like, you enjoyed, we had our Christmases and we got our presents and we got our things, but yeah, you weren't paying too much attention to your parents or how they were feeling about it or whatever. It was just
no,
a
no.
selfish
And
time when you're a kid. You know what I mean? You're just looking to get what you're trying to get.
just looking to get yours, and we've shared about this. I love I've gotten so much feedback of what we shared last week, which ties into this. Anything we talk about now, it's with a lens of that duality of first generation here, right? You add that layer of it. I heard a lot from friends and family that listen to some of our shorties, our little shorts online, and they're like, "Yo, I feel that same way," right? Like with regards to like traditional holidays, some folks that didn't have tamales during Christmas, they're like, "Wait, y'all make them during that season? You make menudo during Christmas season?" You're like, "Yeah, that's part of the bit." I'm like, "Well, that's not part of our world." So,
Yeah.
not to get too Dale Hansen, but it's a part of mine.
Now, like I said, we were talking about, like we were talking about for the Thanksgiving, like, we never had traditional Thanksgiving until way, way later on in life. And for us on Christmas, it's always been tamales. Like, that's just what it
Yeah,
is. And, the only difference now, because, my mom is older, I mean, we're older, everybody's
right.
older. But the thing is, like, I remember back in the day, like all my aunts and everybody used to come over to the house, and then they would start making tamales, like prepping tamales, like at, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. So you had to stay up late if you wanted to hit them hoes, fresh. you had to make it past, midnight or whatever to eat tamales, and now my mom's like, hey, I start these early, by noon we're at the house, 1 o'clock we're at the house, we're eating tamales, like, by 8, 9 o'clock we're heading back home. So, but like I said,
Yeah.
that kind of brings it up too, because I see a lot of this like on social media, people posting, and it was never the case for me, even though I consider myself, growing up in a Mexican household and everything, you too. But a lot of people talk about like how Mexicans do Christmas on Christmas Eve. We never did that.
Mm,
Like I don't know if we were weird because we didn't do that, but like in my house, like my parents, like we never opened presents until like Christmas morning. It
right.
was always like that. The only presents we got to open on Christmas Eve, like if your aunts were over and they brought you something, like they would let you open, whatever they
Yeah.
brought you, because those weren't, Santa Claus presents. Those were presents that people were giving you. So hey, you could,
Right.
you were able to open them that night or whatever. But as far as like gifts, your Santa Claus gifts and stuff, like you didn't open them till in the morning. I don't know how it was with y'all.
Yeah. It was to your point. It was super random because like almost every year when I was little growing up, starting from my birth, so my mom would bring us to Mexico, where they're from, for the summer and then for Christmas. Growing up till I was like 8, 9, 10, and then we started to go more sporadically, right? Then I would have Christmases here. We would have like Christmas for us was like no presents. We would be in a small village where my mom and dad grew up, and we would have like little posadas, right, where you do the rosary stuff, like in the Catholic faith and stuff like that. You'd have parties, a bunch of weddings, but never really gift, and except like for like a little fruit, bag or something like that. But when I would get home at the end of December, because my birthday's in December as well. Uh, Thank you for shouting me out. December 19th. If you want to go back on the dumb zone, chef's kiss. It was like Mozart sitting down to paint. Uh, on the email you sent the boys for my birthday, so thank you for that. But all that to say is when I would get home after the holidays in Mexico, then we would do gifts, right? And normally it'd be like one or two gifts or something. So I always had a weird relationship with gifts in general for Christmas until we got older and also more Americanized. I feel like you mentioned this in the last pod, and that and traditions are some of the feedback that I got from the last pod we did together that you mentioned, where people were like, I feel exactly the same way. So like for us, it was one of those things that um it was just skewed. It wasn't that it was wrong, but then we started to get older, then we would press my parents like, yo, my middle school friends get gifts on Christmas Day. Why do we do Christmas Eve?
Hmm.
And that kind of bit. So I
Yeah.
think as we beat the S out of them, just kind of beat them down, our parents, they gave in, new traditions were formed, and that's kind of the point, I guess, in being in the US. But also I do what we just talked about. We need to go back. We need to have a roundtable with your parents and my parents and just be like, how much of a turd was I growing up? And what do you remember during
I don't know. We want to
Christmas?
hear that.
No, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear it. I think, yeah. No, I think that'd be fun. But yeah, it was that kind of bit. But I do love the holidays though, and I'm glad that it's not that I'm glad you feel like shit like I do. I'm just glad that you feel that way.
No, and the thing is, like, I've always, and this is a thing, like, I don't, I'm not a religious person or anything, and I don't like to use the word atheist just because it's like anything else. It's too definitive, but I don't like to be a pussy and use agnostic either. You know what I mean? It's like either pick one or the other. It just seems like a little harsh. You know what I mean? And so people have always told me like, hey, if you don't believe in God and you don't believe in these things, like, why do you celebrate Christmas? And my thing has always been like, hey, I believe in Santa Claus. Like, I don't have any problem with with Christmas. You know what I mean? But I don't turn it into a thing. You know what I mean? It's the holiday. I like the holiday, so I don't have an issue with the holiday or anything like that. I've always enjoyed it. I've always enjoyed all of it. Even when we were younger, the kids were little, and they were in private school and they have all the little
Yeah.
pageants and the shows and the plays. Like, you enjoy all that stuff. It's all fun to me. So
Yes.
it's not anything like that. So I just don't know what, you know what I mean? Because it's not like all of a sudden it's like, I don't like it or whatever. It's just, it seems to be I don't know, affected by some kind of outside force
Definitely.
or
It's
something.
it's
You know what I mean? Because I
it's
always
definitely
enjoyed the holiday, no matter what, as stressful as it is, and as a pain in the ass as it is, and like running around trying to get stuff. But then on the day of, like you just finally you're done, you do the thing. Like I said, I wonder. As I say, I've never asked my parents that, like if that's how it was for them, or you know what I
yeah.
mean? Because also growing up, like ours the stuff that we did was also a little bit different. I tell the kids sometimes like we did the Christmas thing, but I remember once we got a little bit older, like I don't know, maybe like 12, 13 years old or so, like we used to my parents used to they got us gifts, right? They got us presents or whatever. But then they used to take us shopping on Christmas Eve, go to Toys R Us
Mm.
or go to Children's Palace back in the day, you know what I mean? And they used to give us cash to like buy whatever we wanted, you know what I mean? And that became a tradition after we were a little bit old. Like I said, maybe like 10, 11 years old or something, and that was fun. You know what I mean? Because on like right on Christmas Eve, we were at Toys R Us in the hustle and bustle, and you were picking up Hot Wheels and GI Joes and He Mans and whatever the hell you wanted back in the day. I think I don't know. My dad gave us like 50 or 60 bucks, which was a lot of fucking money back in those days. You know what I mean? Hot Wheels were you could get Hot Wheels too for $1 during Christmas. So you could load up and so a lot of those things are things that like when I tell the kids or you tell other people like we were talking about before, like it's kind of a weird bit, you know what I mean? It's kind of a weird thing, but that's just I don't know, that's just the way we did it. I think at first when they started doing that, they used to take us to Toys R Us on Christmas Eve to pick out toys for other kids, you know. And then we got the hang of like, oh, okay, like they're letting us pick out, you know what I mean? Because back then there was no we didn't do a Santa's list or
No.
letter to Santa or whatever. You just kind of like in a Christmas story, you just kind of try to drop hints, and I get it now, I get it now that how you can get stuff wrong because like I was like I'm never gonna be that way. I'm always gonna know exactly. I'm always gonna be hit. You know what I mean? But it's like, no, if somebody's, oh, I want this video game, and then you go to look for like, I don't even know what that is, or what console does it go to, or like, how do you get it, or like, it's just, and I'm guessing it was the same thing back then. It's like, yeah, you want a Hot Wheel or you want GI Joes, but which ones? Like, I don't know, like, what is this, what is that? So I guess that was their way of, and
Yeah.
this reminds me, this is a story that I tell the kids. And this reminds me, this was on Christmas Eve back, again, sometime in the 80s when I was about, is the only time in my whole life and first time and only time in my whole life that I've ever seen a dead body. And it was on Christmas Eve on our way to Toys R Us. And
Whoa.
it was raining. It was actually raining or sleeting or something. I just know that it was wet. It was wet. It wasn't snowing because but there was something. I just like I said, it's just burned in my brain. And it was on Christmas Eve. We were going to Toys R Us, and on the highway there had been an accident, and so people were kind of driving around. But we got to pass by, and there was a dude on a motorcycle, and they hadn't covered him up yet or anything. But you could tell that he was dead. Now, when you're sitting in the car and you're looking at the window, the passenger side window or whatever, and you're looking like you could tell like this is a dead. But like I said, I still see it in my head.
Dang.
So that's like the only real dead body I've ever seen that close. Like I said, it was a couple of feet from my door. You know what I mean? Like it was right there where the cops hadn't come yet or anything. It was just kind of crazy. And I tell the kids, I remember that once in a while. Like on Christmas, like that's the only time I've ever seen a dead body. And I've never been to a funeral, so I've never seen a dead body or anything like that. Have never seen, you know what I'm saying? That's the only time I've ever seen an actual dead body was on Christmas Eve. Back when I was maybe like 9, 10 years old, somewhere around there.
Well, Christmas miracle, maybe he made it. You don't know.
No.
You don't know. You were a kid. What do you know, dummy? You were
Yeah,
9.
but no, even as a kid, I knew there was no,
Hey, God performs miracles and so does Santa. You never know.
right?
You never know. Also, you better come to my funeral because I already gave you specific instructions as what to burn, what files to delete, and my funeral playlist. So you better come to mine. It's coming
Yeah.
fast. The way my
You already,
body
you already
feels.
gave me your map with your porn stash and everything I need to get rid of.
Yes. All my dubious activities and Yeah, so you better come to mine. It's the least you can do because you're in charge of bringing the kegs.
and
Speaking
the
of kegs,
and pulling the strings.
that's me. I'm not dead. Well, cheers to you, man. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, dude. Always a joy. I know we didn't get to see each other this season, but let's change that soon. You know, we got lots to celebrate, man. New Year
For
fun,
sure.
and we need to get the families together again soon. But
For sure.
speaking of dead bodies, one real quick thing I wanted to say. One thing that stuck with me, I'm behind on the pod. I
Mhm.
was sharing this with you before offline, but I'm so fascinated by Dan and his childhood upbringing. So they were talking about I don't know how it came up, but they mentioned he shared a story about his not his brother, his uncle Dennis, uh, offing himself with a banana in the tailpipe after his girlfriend broke up with him. And he did it in front of his girlfriend's apartment. And he just mentioned it like offhand. His childhood life was so, first of all, rich because of ski club, but then also like wheels off because his mom apparently would date a lot. And
Yeah.
that's what they were talking about. They were talking about the fun uncle. Dennis was
Yeah.
his fun uncle that would take him out. He was drunk and he would take him places that, little baby Dan shouldn't have gone. And his mom would come home and get real pissed off. And he didn't
Yeah,
understand why.
I think it came out when they were talking about Blake and the kid in the back with the homeless people, and like
Yes.
basically he
Yeah.
was being the fun uncle, and then they got into the thing of like, like that's the kind of
You're
thing
right.
like a fun uncle does.
I think you're right. And then Dan just drops these like nuggets of his life. And he doesn't like to talk about it. So I think it's
Yeah.
always interesting to hear where he came, like his upbringing. Like,
Yeah, he never dives deeper into it or
no,
anything.
no, he'll be self-deprecating and say that his mom liked to fool around with different guys. Never knew his dad. His dad, ran off, getting milk and cigarettes. But like when, like when Blake and Jake, whenever they get to go to Ohio for, the last time they went, they met Heart Attack Man. They had a football related hangout or whatever. But and some of the pods, but every detail they get, they're like, "Damn, Dan, you lived in a 2-story corner lot home. You weren't poor." You were not poor, and Dan just kind of stays quiet.
I was saying he never dives deep into it or
No.
elaborates on the on the stories. Like you said, like he just drops the nugget, but doesn't and nobody asks him. Like if I was there, I'd be like, no, we need to hear a little bit more about this.
Well, somebody needs to Dan, right? Because Dan is the best at needling at you and guess until he like maneuvers you this way, that way, then he catches you in zone, and he's like, okay, I got it, interception.
Yeah.
For those reasons and more, we need to either do a sit-in, a 690 sit-in, or we need to have them on the pod because they've offered, as we've said, randomly. Not sure why.
And like we said, we're not gonna get into bullshit about contract negotiations and shit. We want to know stuff that nobody else is asking for.
That's right.
All these little tidbits that they drop and then they don't expand on.
That's right. Yeah. I want to know all about the details. They dropped one when Soroy was doing a sit-in when Jake was with his kid in New York City. That apparently Soroy used to work with Brad Sham or something, or road trips with Brad Sham. I don't know what that is, but I want to find out more about it. Next time we see Soroy, we'll have to, because they mentioned, he's like, no, that's for off air. We don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next time we see Soroy.
Put it in the notes.
Put it in the notes. Next time we see the sea cow, God bless. But dude, it's Saturday. Speaking of holiday spirit, I think one other thing is like we're being over footballed right now. Yeah. So I'm excited about NFL football and college football.
That's also a thing too that I have never ever experienced. Yes, I've never experienced this. Like they here towards the end of the year, like I've watched them in the background, but like I haven't, like last Saturday I watched, on Christmas it was hard. Because Christmas, like I said, we usually on Christmas Day, we open up gifts in the morning, presents, and then we put, like I said, the movies on all day. We reheat tamales. That's what we eat all day. Reheat every few hours. Like that's what we do. But then when there's games on, and I love football, you know, it's hard because it's like, well, that's not what we do on Christmas. On Christmas is when the kids get to have me sit there and do absolutely nothing all day. The only one day a year you will catch me in my pajamas all day. That's the only year. That's the only day of the year.
That's
That's
so
the only
sexy.
time of the year. That's it.
Slow down. Slow down. Slow down. Talk slower. What kind of pajama?
And so when there's football, it makes it hard because, like I said, I love football. So I was like, all right, well, let me at least just watch my team play, and then the other two games, and it was a good thing too that I guess none of the matchups were really that interesting. You know, they were pretty shitty matchups. So, but I just wanted to see my team play for a little bit. So I was like, okay, well, we'll do that. But yeah, that was a thing too, like that I haven't experienced before. It's just like even Thursday night football, Monday night football, it seems like it's a lot of football. And I
Yeah.
don't know, and it has nothing to do with my team being shitty. My team's shitty every year, and I still want to watch them at the end of the year, and I still watch games. But I don't know
No.
if like there's just a lot of shitty matchups here at the end of the game, or at the end of the year, or if it's just too much football, which I think I would never say.
I think it's both. I think it's both. They have to stretch out on different platforms, so they have to find just by default, you can't sustain Thursday, Saturday, Sunday football matchups.
I think
on
Saturday
Netflix.
is what kind of does overkill.
You just can't sustain the matchups aren't there logistically. So you try to prop them up on Netflix, and it's like, is this a premier match? No, it's not. It really isn't. And it doesn't matter about how good our teams are or not. That it's just there's not enough sustainable, good quality matchups right now into the season to sustain 3 full days of football. And by the way, we're being hypocritical. The reason I brought it up is so breaking the fourth wall here on the Dumber Zone. We decided to do this epi in the can because Houston is about to go on at 3:30, right? So we decided to jump in early because Saturday football starts at 3:30 today. So
And
I don't know, man.
speaking of football, I know nobody likes to hear about fantasy football, but I mean, we have to talk about it because me and you ended up having to be the last place. It just worked out that me and you are the worst two teams right now, and we're playing each other, and
Yeah.
the loser has to wear a dress. So maybe we also make it a payoff here on the next pod after we figure out who has to wear the
Yes.
dress has to do the next pod.
No, I'll do that. I'll do it in full dress. Next pod, full dress. You know what?
See, and last year when we had our meeting, I was going to bring up because we've been getting a little cheated with the dress thing. Things that I wouldn't qualify as a dress. It's not in the spirit of the bet payoff.
Sure.
So I was like, okay, the year that I lose, maybe it's this year, I'm gonna go and get an actual big, huge, fancy dress, and then be like, okay, this is the dress that everybody's going to wear from here on out. We'll fix it every year for whoever needs to fit in it, but it kind of sounds a little, oh well, this year you're the one that doesn't have to wear it, so you could put in this rule. But no, if I lose, then I can be like, look, because I'm wearing it. So from here on out, this is the wedding dress that everybody has to wear from here on out. And it's harder to say no, right? Because I'm bringing it up, but I'm the one that has to do it. It's different when you're not the one that has to do it and you bring it up.
So to back up, Adrian and I, we've been in this. You can catch everyone else. So we've been in this fantasy league. I've been in it for like what, 8 years, 7 years,
a couple years more than me, 2-3 years more than I have.
And we weren't there from the beginning. This started out as a work league for some folks in our crew. His brother, my one of my good friends, best friends, and the rest.
They
of
all work together.
Crew. Our Bean Check crew, just all best friends hanging out together. So they were in it first because they all used to work together with other dudes that were coworkers of theirs. So it's a dynasty league. It's an auction draft. It's $100 buy-in. You have a $200 salary cap. It's all these nerded out fantasy bells and whistles, and I love it. And so the auction draft is live and in person. So that's where the bet payoff is. Whoever comes in last, then at the next draft, you come in wearing a dress. And yes, I think the spirit of it has been lost, Adrian. So folks have been real lackadaisical about what they say a dress is.
What's considered a dress.
Right. Yeah, like a tall tee.
And like I said, it's hard to make people say, well, it's got to be this when you're not the one that's,
Yeah.
It's easy. But no, like I said, if I lose one of these years, whatever year I lose, I'm going to go all out so that's the dress that everybody's going to have to wear from here on out. And then it's harder, like I said, it's harder to say no because it's like, look, I'm starting it, I'm doing it,
So fast forward to this weekend. We found ourselves here. We're in the toilet bowl. Adrian and I have the two worst setups, worst, records at the bottom of the barrel. We're 1 point apart in fantasy. And we won't bore you guys. We're not going to be like Mike the Machine, Marshall, and Dan always kicks him in the nuts, even though Dan wants him on the show. But he's like, that's too much fantasy football talk. So, well, which way is it, Dan? Jerk.
Yeah,
So,
ours is more just to say that like one of us
Yes.
will be wearing a dress on the next pod because one of us has to do it.
we are literally 1 point away, and we're 50-50. And the way this breaks out today, tomorrow, Monday night, one of us it will be in a full quinceañera dress, not only for the draft, but at the next pod. How about that?
Or as soon as
one
we
of these
get the
upcoming
dress.
pods. As soon as we get the dress, then we'll jump in and we'll do a callback. How about that? So I liked it.
How about that?
How about that? A little sauce on it. You know what I'm saying? I'll put a wig on. Do anything for you, Adrian.
Everything. Like I said, we've been wanting to do this. But like I said, it's just been getting a little more loose every year. With like, all right, we'll let it go, but that's not a
Yeah.
dress. You know, a long T-shirt
That's right.
over your clothes is not a dress.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have
that's
to.
right.
We're gonna have to sacrifice and set them right.
We will sacrifice ourselves in the spirit of the holiday season,
Yeah.
right? we will sacrifice ourselves for the betterment of the group. I love this group that we formed because at the beginning it was very much we were outsiders. That's another thing. It's a 10-man team, 10-person team. And we found our way, we weaseled our way very much in a fantasy league coup to where we're now the majority and majority vote rules on any rules. So we're just pretty much running our own fantasy league now. Our beat check crew, we brought in, our buddy Chipper, like all these people that we've hung out with that are now part of this league. And now there's only like 3 or 4 maybe.
Now we own the voting majority.
We have the voting majority. We feel very much like Jerry Jones when you go into an owners meeting. We know who's pulling the strings.
We know we're gonna get what we want.
Yes, that's it. We know we're going to keep all our indiscrepancies, like gate agents at flight terminals, kind of
Yeah,
whisked
that's
away.
the thing. We do this dress thing. Like all of us on our team don't have an issue with it. Like we're all I don't know, more secure in our shit or whatever you want to call it. But we don't care. We do bits. And we have fun with it. But the other half that doesn't have control, those are the ones that are a little more, a little more, yes, that actually would rather pay the fine than have to wear a dress.
a little more not accepting of worldviews and all people and all class and gender.
Yeah.
But I digress. This is fantasy. It's fun. Hello.
Yeah, but it's like I said, it's part of football. I was just bringing it up because, like I said, we're watching football later, and this is the weekend that we're deciding who gets to wear the dress.
And does football mean anything anymore if we're over football with bad matchups?
Yeah. So many people are out. That kind of makes a difference too. I think, and I predicted this screwed a lot of people too during the playoffs because I said,
yes,
Nestor, I was like, the thing is, all it takes, and not even, and if you're not looking at injuries completely, but like once we get near the end here, like teams that have their seeding or the playoffs sewn up, like they start resting people, which they don't give a shit about your fantasy team.
No.
You know what I mean? It ends up screwing your team.
Yes.
And for however long this thing has been going, as long as I've been in it, maybe at 10 years that I've been in, I don't know how long I've been in it, but we still, I think it's still a curse to be the number 1 seed because the 2 guys playing for the championship didn't sniff the top spots all year long, and they're the ones that are in the championship. And the guys that were first and second the whole year are playing for consolation. Brackets.
Well, I think that is a curse on the first place, especially for our league. And also, the NFL keeps adding effing weeks to the season. Can we not figure out fantasy to where that's not an impact? To where we're not in real life sitting, Jahmyr Gibbs or whoever it is, if the not this season, but whatever good team has their stuff locked up, they're like, I'm not going out there playing my talent, dude. I got playoffs to worry about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it screws you if that's on your team, if that's your starters.
Or this is something for another segment. Or if it's shitty ownerships of a team, an NFL team, that's sitting players that are maybe 10 yards away from their bonus. Right?
And it happens.
Bonus. It happens. Of course it does. No one talks about that part or betting,
Yeah.
Anyway, for whatever reason, sitting starters is a bad bit. And that's my segment. Bad bits, not
What
bad
grinds
beat.
my gears?
You know what? That's what grinds my gear. Oh, man. Well, that's good stuff, brother. Well, man, I will let you to it. I need to get my head right around football. Okay. This was a shorty. We're what, 40 minutes?
Something like that.
Yeah. Because one, I got to pee like they do unless we take a break. Actually, I'm peeing right now. Actually, I'm full release
We'll
right
play.
now.
We'll play a pre-recorded bit.
Please. Yeah. That's okay. That's another bit. Like they always get me. I don't know how you watch the playback when you listen to the pod, but I do Substack. So if you click the link, if you want to do the live stream instead of the recorded audio, so then it takes you to.
So they don't edit it. Yeah, it's not edited out.
No. So then, I got to sit there and do listen to all the pre-produced during the break, all the pre-produced Frankel and Frankel. They're all funny, but I've heard them all.
Yeah.
10 million times or whatever. So that always gets me. And I'm not a YouTube premium subscriber. So those are first world pains. So I get ads.
No, on the subathon, they did a bunch of pre-recorded in betweens.
I can't wait. Okay.
I don't think they ever did a break, like an actual break like they do. They just had like, I think every half hour or something, they had like bits in between that pre-recorded bits and things like that.
Take a read.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've heard a lot about like Soroy and Dan's bed and his wife got mad at Dan.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't wait
and
to see it.
We finally got to see the bits that they were talking about. Yeah. So all that's in there. And like I said, I had it on the day that it was running. Yeah. I had it on in the background, so I watched it that way. And then the next few days, because, they don't have any pods, the next few days, I just replayed it and I caught different parts at different times. Dang. So in pieces, I've kind of got it all. And then I think it was yesterday. Maybe yesterday they finally dropped on Spotify, like the actual edited episode. And so I've been listening to that. So I'm about like halfway through the 9 hours of the audio.
But have you consumed on video? Because I want to see some of the bits.
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can watch it. Like I said, you can watch the whole thing on YouTube. But obviously, like a lot of that stuff doesn't translate to audio. So I think the audio is like maybe 9 hours instead of 12. Because I think they cut out all the little video bits and everything out of that. But like I said, since I've put it on like 2-3 times on the computer and I have it on in the background, so I catch different parts. And so that way I've kind of picked up most of it.
That's good.
But then on the audio, then, I've had it in my earbuds. So yeah. No, but I think they did a good job. It looks like they had a shit ton of views.
Really?
Yeah, like more than they normally I see on their lives and stuff. Like, so it seems like a lot of people watch throughout the day. So hopefully it turned out good. I mean, it was for a good cause. So hopefully, it worked out.
Yeah, that's good. Well, ever since, because you're the one that turned me on from the ticket. I was a P1, major P1, then obviously was impacted by this change when they went through the negotiation, Dan and Jake. And then you put me on to start listening to the Dumb Zone. But I have not gone back. And now I feel super bad when I'm behind. And I'm behind by like 9 episodes or like 2 weeks worth. And so like
whenever I get behind like that, like I said, what I do is I'll just go current.
Okay.
And then because it's only a couple of hours. And then when you have time to listen to something else, then you go back to listen to something. Or on Wednesday, I would catch, 2-3 past episodes that I missed and catch them on Wednesday or whatever,
Sure.
Because now you never catch up.
I'm
right now it's a good time to catch up because they don't have anything until after New Year's, I think.
Well, so. I'm the closest I've ever been in the last 6 months. So
this will be your time. You'll catch up during this time because, like I said, I don't think they're supposed to come back until after New Year's. So you still have the rest of the week and maybe next.
Yes. Okay, good. I'm going hard to the point where my wife's worried about me. She's like, all you do is like eat and like drink and listen to the Dumb Zone, and I'm like, it's a holiday break. I don't know. She's like, just like, you're listening to that way too much consistently, like consecutively. Yeah. I'm like, so I think she's right. I think I may have a problem on many fronts.
I always have it on. Like I said, I always have it on. Even and then when it's over, like it goes to IJB or it goes to, so it's like.
Yeah. There's just so much good content now, which is great. There's no complaints there. But yeah, I need to do that. I need to catch up. And then once it goes back to live, I'll jump in. I did really love, speaking of Business Wednesday, I really liked Jake's Business Wednesday with the Grapevine. Did you listen to the Grapevine
I
School
listened to part of
Board?
it. Yeah, yeah.
It's
When they were dealing
crazy.
with the school thing. Yeah,
And he's talked about that before, like how that lines up with like 2020, with the presidential race and like
yeah,
having different party affiliations come in on the local level for student council, not student council, but the the
yeah. Just the
the
people that
board,
run
the
everything there.
district
Yeah,
board. It is insane, dude. But didn't do a deep dive on it, but he's mentioned that for the last, I don't know, year or something like that about grapevine politics,
yeah.
and they always make fun of it. But that that is something that I point to when I'm like, look, yes, I listen to a podcast called The Dumb Zone. They are not dumb by any means. This is important stuff, and this is stuff that if you choose to, you take it all in and have fun and laugh and talk about sports, but also, I mean, they are literally teaching people or opening people's eyes. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not, I'm not apolitical, but I do have my affiliations and my interest and my desires for what this world can look like, right? I'm an optimist, but having like some of those sessions and listening to that, I'm like, yeah, dude, it's a good reminder where it's like, yeah, it's about having fun on the podcast, but also like, yeah, there's an impact there that these
But
boys
there's
are
still
doing.
shit going on.
There's still stuff going on, and also that they're
Yeah,
involved in and that they have,
yeah.
you know what I mean? It's just a good reminder of that, where it's like Jake is interested in that and he wants to make change. The way they say they don't like Jared Sandler, but they love him so much with the Sandlot and their nonprofit, with the subathon and stuff, the nonprofit help that they do. It just feels good to support the good guys, even though they're dirtbags. But we're dirtbags, so
Yeah.
it makes sense. We're dirtbags with a heart of gold.
You can be a good
You can be.
dirtbag.
That's my point. That's my point. We're
Yeah.
dirtbags with a heart of gold. So are they. Feels good to be a fan of them, to be a DF. I've loved this season of life, getting to share this with you, right? The Dumber Zone. And speaking of the holiday season, that's what I'm thankful for, is this opportunity to get to do this with you and get to listen to these good guys that are really making an impact for a lot of people's lives. Yeah. But
That's always like, I mean, I consider myself, sort of an asshole, but like we're good-hearted assholes though. Like we're not assholes
yeah,
in a bad, you know what I mean? Like we're assholes because we're assholes, but like I don't think we are bad people at the root of it.
right.
You know what I mean?
No, 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 no. Heart of gold you are, my friend. Uh, no, yeah, I've seen that all my life, my friend. So it's good stuff. Well, I love you so much. I'm about to get real emotional on you. Maybe that's for offline. Just to
Yeah.
spill out my heart and my
Let me
word.
stop the video.
Yeah, let me take my shirt off. Nah, bro. Merry Christmas, man. Happy New Year. We'll get some more in before the new year. That's the goal.
Likewise to you and yours. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get some
Like I
more
said,
in the
we
can.
need to get used to just hopping on here and just chatting
Yes.
about whatever.
Yeah, it's perfect. It doesn't, it's,
If it's something, it is. If it's nothing, then it's nothing.
dude, again, I told you, I got a lot of feedback just from the shorties. They're like, are y'all doing some shorts now? We're like, one, I don't know. We're doing whatever we want. So there's no rhyme or reason. And two, glad you liked it. Thanks for reaching out. I got a lot of good feedback on what we just talked about in this podcast earlier. So let's keep doing
No,
it.
it's a
Let's
good
keep
thing. Like I
jamming.
said, we're not, we don't have a ton of people, but we do have people that are listening. We do have people that are watching,
Yeah, very much.
that are paying attention, and
Very
hopefully,
much.
like, we do something that they like to listen to, or, you know, we'll figure out how to take feedback and how to have people on here eventually, and we'll
Yeah,
start having other people on and tackling all kinds of whatnots.
yeah. And if not, they can go listen to Whisper Voice on NPR. F them.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? I don't care. Doesn't hurt my
Yeah.
feelings. Yes, it does.
Nope.
No, man. Well, I appreciate you,
All
man.
right then.
Okay. We need to have a good
Again.
send off. What's a good send off? Like, well, this was fun, but that's Jake's.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll think about it. We'll
Yeah.
come up with something.
We'll eventually have our own.
We'll have our own send off. Yeah.
But in the meantime, cheers. Happy holidays.
Happy
And,
holidays.
just keep being
Mer-
a good-hearted asshole, I guess.
Merry Chrysler. Merry Christmas. All right, bro. Cheers, brother. Love you, man.